Hey guys, how are you? Don't mind my professionalism today. I was told if I have this on, I'll look more professional. So, okay. But they're really bothering my eyes. Anyway, yeah, we want to create this. I need to have this up here. Okay. How are you guys? How are you? Let me bring back. It makes me feel smarter. So. How have you guys been? Let's look at some of the artwork we have done. In the last day. So this is what we did in the last live stream, and if you want to see that, you can go to, let me get the Instagram link for you. Nightbot should post that. Okay, so this is what we did, a few of the renders we made, and I think the piece came out looking good. I think we are starting to nail that realism. And today we're going to try something different. We're going to try making this here. And let's get the image. And I guess I should post the image link for anyone who might want to. Hello, Ivano Werasinja. Hi, how are you? Okay, so let's set up Blender here, grab this image. I think we're going to use geometry nodes for making the buildings, just so we can easily get some variation. So a block like this we can make quite easily with geometry nodes. And I guess this would be a nice introduction to geometry nodes. But let's first block out the scene, get the same aspect ratio that this image has. Oh, before we even do that, let's see. So if you want to get the exact camera settings and what perspective of this image, you can use an amazing add-on called Perspective Plotter, which I have an affiliate link for. So Perspective Plotter just allows you to align your camera to your virtual camera to the 3D, your virtual camera or 3D camera to the real camera that took the photograph, like you see in this demo here. So you can use it to just match the camera angle, position, perspective, or lens. And yeah, so it's basically was inspired by FSpy. If you don't know what FSpy is, it's basically an add-on, a previous add-on that did that, but this one has better control. And yeah, so if you want to get this link, is going to be provided in the chat. It's not what I'm going to be using. I'm just going to do it manually, because I usually, when I'm creating these pieces, I don't want to match them exactly as they are. I'm just using them for inspiration. So I'm not going to be trying to align the camera to match this, but if you want yours to be matched, you can get Perspective Plotter. It's relatively inexpensive, $15. And then there is Physical Starlight and Atmosphere add-on, which lets you generate skies with clouds and a lot of other things, atmospheric fog, and yeah, you can basically just adds more to your sky and makes it more realistic. If you get this add-on, it really helps out the channel because just adds a little bit more to my income so that I can make this sustainable. And then finally we have traffic, the car traffic library, which comes with rigged cars, planes, any type of vehicle you can think of or you're gonna need. You can look at the interior. They are really well made, highly detailed. So this is also an amazing add-on to add to your repository and to your workflow. So if you want to get any of these, you can see the rig works perfectly. If you want to get any of these, as I said, links are going to be provided in the description. With that out of the way, we can jump in today's stuff. Okay, so we want an aspect ratio or a resolution of 564 and 1008. That's the perspective we are working with. Okay, I think I'm going to start with blocking out the buildings. So let me have a few of these. Are you an environment artist or not? Curious to know. Well, I'm not sure how to answer that. I guess I am. Because I do a lot of environment pieces, so I guess that makes me an environment artist. But I'm more of a general artist, so I do nearly anything. Whatever piece I'd like to make that I find interesting to make is what I make. I don't really I'm not really specializing, or I'm not trying to specialize in anything. I guess that's the best way I can answer that. Let me change the angle to a 20 millimeter. Rotate it. I think these have to be a bit in the back. Just trying to block everything up like that. Okay. And we can add an environment or polymetric setup here. So our principal, what do you do as a job? Mainly YouTube, and I also do some programming. I sell 3D models, web design, but which I haven't done in a while because I've been quite occupied with programming or making Blender add-ons. What about you? What do you do for a living? What do you guys do for a living? Now we're going to use cycles. Bring this up, bring the density down. Oh. You're a student. What are you studying? What are you studying? Anything interesting? Hey Kumar 333, how are you? How is your morning or day? Origin 3D cursor. Now I think I want this to fade up, so I'm going to do a texture gradient. Let me first look at this in Eevee here. That uses object mapping. I hope I'm not late. No, you totally not late. We are just a few minutes in. We basically just started. You haven't missed anything at all. I want this to be rotated 90 degrees. Okay, so I want a gradient that goes down and up. Hello, I missed the past couple of streams, but glad to be able to watch this one. Nice, and glad to see you joining us. Glad. Just asking, it's not compulsory to answer, but how much do you earn? That's not something I usually share, and yeah. But maybe one time I'll make a video about that and see. Okay, so I want to use this for the color ramp. Actually, I want this to be flipped around. So we have something like that. Hey, Alona Wolf. Yo, what's up? Let's do 3D. How are you? Time difference in California is crazy. Glad I caught this stream. Though, what time is it there? I also like to. I also stream in the evening, just so I can get that audience that is usually sleeping when I'm streaming. So in the evening, which would be, I don't know, like 7 hours from now. Is it 7? Yeah, 7 hours from now, I'll also be streaming again for anyone, for those guys. But it will be a completely different thing, or a different piece of art. Use noise. Right now I'm trying to first block out the entire scene. Oh, and by the way, I need to bring in my sky texture. We need to set it to a nighttime by just bringing the elevation to something very low like that. Let me also turn on the noiser. It will make it better. So you mean detail in the noise? Okay, let me call this Slum City. Okay, so you're saying if I add noise, so texture, noise, I guess I need to blend it with this. So that's one. Maybe add a color ramp. I guess it makes it better. Okay, so let's start working on the building. Is there a great interest in 3D VFX in Uganda? Yes, there is, but there is great interest, but it's just known as it doesn't pay well. That's what I could say. There is definitely interest, but you can't really make that much with it since the game industry here is practically non-existent, and the movie industry same is basically non-existent. So there isn't an easier way to make money unless you are freelancing on the internet. 1 a.m. Oh, is 1 a.m. your side? That's not 2. 1 a.m. Okay, midnight. That's pretty late. Just started, and you making fog. Yeah, I'm making. That's the last thing I usually add. But anyway, I think our aspect ratio is a bit too narrow, so let's widen it a bit, something like that. Now let's make the building. So we're going to use geometry nodes, and I have these blocks as how do you call them, placeholders. So let's set up geometry nodes here. We'll change this to 3D view, just so we have something to look at as we're working. But I am off work this week, so I'm up working on hobby game dev stuff. Nice. What game engine are you using? Have you used the asset browser to save Sky presets? The asset browser? No. I have my own add-on called the asset library, which I think I'm going to. I'll continue using it, but not as much as I've been using it, because I've started playing with the asset browser, and I think it's a nice feature that I can start getting interested in. But no, I have not used the asset browser. Trying to read. That's been a game changer for me. Yeah, it must be because it's a nice tool. Hey Bobby, Alex, how are you? Glad to see you. Interesting, Nigerian film industry certainly will benefit for great VFX. Yeah, Nigerian industry is, their economy is already way bigger than ours. So, and their movie industry is a little bit more developed than ours, than the Ugandan industry. So yeah, they will definitely benefit. Geometry nodes, my worst enemy. You can learn it. Let's take this opportunity to show you how. Maybe just take you through the basics. Through the basics of geometry nodes. I want to share my shortcuts here. Okay. So basically what we want to do, let me bring back the reference image here. Image. Okay, so what we want to do is create a building like this, and there are several ways we can do that. Hello Vivek Gupta, how are you? Are you using Unity and Blender for modeling? Nice. Have you done any stuff we can look at? Okay, so to create a building like this, we are going to have a collection of parts, because we want to make this in a modular, as modules. So I'm going to call this modules, and inside this we are going to have a few blocks, and we want these blocks to be, because I've tested this, and I think a block of 2 meters, now maybe we can do 2 meters up and 1 meter down, so 0.5, something like that. It doesn't matter how big this is, but I'm going to maintain it to be like that. So we want blocks like this, and we can add as much details as we want to them. So I'm going to duplicate this, and we want the origin to be at the corner like that. So origin like that. I'm going to duplicate this here so that we have some variation, and I'm going to show you why I'm doing it this way in a moment. I just need to have a few blocks to show this on, to show you on. Going to grab this, extrude down. Now we are going to add details later on. I'm just showing you the setup we're going to use. So these are our blocks. Now we can have a plane. This is going to hold our geometry nodes, so we can start a new geometry nodes group. We don't need this to be connected. We are going to start with a line, a mesh line, because we want to instance these on a line. So our line looks like that vertically. It's going vertically, and this line contains points, and to show you these points, I can do instance points. I can do points, a mesh to points, and you can see all the points that we have. So each point here we can add a block like this. So to add a block like that, we can just do instance on points like this, get this, connect that. And now our instances, we want to use this module collection. So all of these blocks we have just created, so we can use them as instances like that. And we need to use separate and reset children. Why is nothing showing up? Collection info. Okay, so the reason why we are getting an error here and nothing is showing up is because the plane that contains these geometry nodes is inside the same collection that we are using as the collection, the instance collection. So we need to move this outside that collection, and we have our new building. And let me call this nodes. You're fine? Good. Okay, so now we have this. Remember, we are trying to create a block like this. So we have this, but all these cubes are being overlaid on top of each other. That's why you see we are having some zip fighting. So to remove that, just need to check the peak instance, and that should randomize. That should have any of these instances here. So that should have one instance per collection, one instance or one object per point, which is why we are getting this. And you can see, if you look closely, this pattern is being repeated. So at the first instance or at the first point, the object in the first position of the collection. So look at this order. If I select this, let me call this 1, 2, and then 3. You can see this is 1, 2, 3. Thank you for subscribing. Sorry, I can't pronounce your name, but thank you for subscribing. So you can see the order that these are added. Let me just write this down here. So this is 1. Let me change the color to something more. So that is 1, 2, 3. You can look at the pattern that is going on here. It's 1, 2, 3 in the same order that they are listed in the collection is how they're going to be instanced here. So you can see 1, 2, 3, and that order is repeated 1, 2, 3, and repeated over and over. We don't want to have that pattern. We want things to be more random. Hey Kapil, how are you? Glad to see you joining us. How is everything? And let me show you. I really liked the render we did yesterday, especially your addition. The character climbing really made the scene look super amazing. Yeah, if you haven't seen the final renders, you can go to the Instagram, use exclamation mark socials, and yeah, it came out really nicely. I'm very proud of that one. This is why I love Blender. Imagine trying to do this in Maya. For a start, it would have crashed at least 5 minutes, and it takes longer to start Maya. Yeah, so what I was saying is, thank you, Maya, as well. Yeah, we don't want this pattern to repeat. We want it to be random. So what we can do is we have this index option. Let me not forget how to do this. We can use a random value to randomize the order here. So if I bring this here, you can see if I bring a random order, a random value here, I can basically change or create some randomization, introduce some randomization in the placement of these modules, which is nice. But one other thing that I would like to note here is that you can see that our building is just a single row, which is not super realistic. We want the building to be a little bit wider. So you see we have this width. So maybe our building will look much better if it was this width. So what I'm going to do, as you can see from we are instancing these modules onto this line. So if we have another copy of this line here, copies of this line, we can just repeat the same pattern. So let me even first remove this randomization and clear the notes. Yeah, guys, if you have anything that you don't understand, let me know and I'll try to explain a little bit more. You're missing your tea? You can make tea. I'll be here. And yeah, maybe you can also use this opportunity to teach me how you make tea, because my tea sucks. So yeah, we have this point, and if we have a copy, let me first remove this. If I have a copy and I want to make a copy, we can just use a transform node. I'll just bring this geometry. Let me preview this. I can translate this on the left. And if I join this with the original geometry, we basically have two versions of this. And now if we use these points, the points from this, we can bring back the collection, which for some reason I removed. Let me bring back our modules and just have them here. Okay, you can see what we're trying to do. If we have another copy of this, you can see we can have multiple. So we can have multiple rows or columns of these buildings, but just using the transform node doesn't really give us that procedural look, that procedural workflow that we have. What we can do is, instead of doing that, we can use another mesh line like this, but we want this to go in this direction so that we have points along this direction. And let me show you. If I use points on mesh to points, you can see that how our point. Let me increase the radius of the points so that you can see. So those are our points. We want them to go in this direction. Don't run. This is usually how I speak, so it's very hard for me to slow down. Let me try to be a bit slow. Okay, so yeah, we want these points to go in this direction, and now we can easily change that by switching the axis to be the offset axis to be in the X, and now we have these points. So now we can now we can use this vertical. Let me reduce this sound. It's okay. Now we can use this line, this vertical line we have to instance, to make copies of this. We can make copies of this line in the same way that we were in the similar way we did with the transform node. So we can do another instance on points, and at this time we can use this mesh as the points, and then this line as the instance. So we have a row of lines like that. Have you used grease pencil? I have watched a video where the guy just drew everything. I've seen those videos. It's like sorcery to me. So no, I'm not very good at painting. So no, I have not. So yeah, we have these instances, and now we have vertical rows and going this direction. So we can use those. How many of you use grease pencil? How many of you do 2D painting and use grease pencil? I'll be interested to know. Okay, so now that we have this, we can grab these new points and use them as the points, and basically have our row like that, row of buildings like that. And changing the count on any of these, we can change the width of the building or the height of the building. But not use the grease pencil before. I've tried it, but it's so sorry to me. I have no idea. Okay. Love your videos. Thank you, Starwood Films. Thank you. I did in Photoshop. Also, you do use Photoshop for 2D painting. Nice, nice, nice. Oh, one other thing you will see is that we have some Z fighting happening here, and the reason for that is because our modules are 2 meters, and the separation distance between our lines is 1 meter. So they are kind of getting they are overlapping. So we need to change this to 2 meters to have the width of our building like that. Like I said, we want to have some randomization here. So we can grab a random value, random value. Make sure you're using integer. And the maximum can be whatever you want it. And just connect this to the instance. And you see that we are randomizing the vertical rows, but not the horizontal rows. And because here, if you want to randomize the horizontal rows, are they rows? So these are columns and these are rows. Yeah, so if you want to randomize those, we need to realize instances here. And you can see now we have some random buildings. Yeah, pretty easy setup. Pretty easy. And it's pretty easy setup, but we can make it also look pretty. How? Let's go back. Let's go to what should I use? Okay, let's go to the materials setup here, and you can see our materials don't really have any texturing to them. One thing I'm wondering is if our UV map will work here. Let's see. Let me clear this. I hope someday I will also be able to do this wonderful stuff. Yeah, of course you will. I just have to watch a few tutorials and you will just get the hang of it. Aren't they much? No, they are not. They are not. I have recently learned that there is this option in Blender. What option? Geometry nodes? You didn't know about geometry nodes? Sorry. What were we talking about? Grease pencil? You didn't know about grease pencil? When you're texturing something like this, is it harder? Texture the building? No, it's not going to be harder. Actually, let's jump into the texturing of the building. So we are going to go to the image editor and basically let me go to my resources. I want to get some buildings. Especially get some windowed buildings. Yeah, something like this. Actually, let me use my texture folder add-on. I think it's going to be much easier to work. So I should just go to my details, buildings, details. Yeah. And grab, let's see. Yeah, a building like this, and I'm just going to use a plane. Oh, I want to create it as a plane. And because it's being added, because it has been added to the same collection, it's also being used as part of the building block. So anything you add into the modules collection is going to be used as part of the building. Just be aware of that. So I want to get something like this piece. And you can see it's already being used as a piece. And what we want to do is just make sure that, let me go to the materials. I do need a shader editor here. So what I want is just a face of a window. And let's go to the UV editor. Unwrap this UV editor. I just want one face of a window. And I also want to make sure that this is 2 meters. Basically, we are going to replace these white blocks with textured blocks. Let me make sure that the pivot point is at the same origin, and you can see we are starting to add in this detail into our block. So now I can just use Ian Herbert's trick of making detailed buildings. Let's grab this window. Like this, and I can start. You can add in as much detail as you want. And it will reflect. Just have the detail, and basically you can see. So if I remove all the other buildings and just have just the one we have textured, you can see how easily we can get a building done. Just need to make sure that everything is lined up correctly. You can see in just a few seconds we have a building like that, and you can make variations of this building block, and as long as this module is in the same collection. So if I duplicate this, I can maybe remove this middle thing, just widen this. Widen this area here. Just merge this area. Let me grab these faces. Just grab these faces. You know the drill. Just like that, and you can see that variation will also be introduced in here. So you can see we have blocks that have the middle thing and the blocks that don't have. I can say do other things like let me go to the asset library, look for street elements. Let's see what else yeah, so this might be a bit heavy. Let me see, shop. I have some shops. Say, I don't know if I should do this way. Yeah, I have this shop detail. It comes with a bunch of other stuff that I do not want to have. Okay, apply the scale, rotate 90 degrees, apply scale, apply rotation. And you just need to make sure that it has the same width as the other blocks. As long as this matches, just grab the origin to 3D cursor. I don't know if you can see that, but they're already... Are those assets created by you over the years? Yes, yes. It's something that I've created over the years. We can even make, say, shorter, because you can see there are some that are popping out. So let me grab these. So I can make some faces shorter, so we have some recessed blocks, and we can have others that are pulled out. Maybe let me add. I want you to see how things are happening. So if I pull this, you can see that's a nice way to do that. I guess I need to make sure that these are well textured. Can you limit it to the ground floor only? Limit what? A particular part, module? Yes, you can. Let me first unwrap. If you want the bottom floor to be different, I can show you that. So we have that. I think we can come back at the front shop designs. Yes, you can. You basically just, there are several ways you can do this. You can create just a duplicate of this, reduce the height. Actually, I need to expose some of these parameters. So we can control the length easily like that, or the height easily like that. And that continuously varies everything. So let's bring the group output or group input, because I want to be able to easily vary this. And another thing I want to do is also change, also be able to change the seed of this so that we can control this. So I want to have these replace So let's bring this here. I just scale it down. You increase the height, you can change the variation, and we can duplicate this, just rotate it to make this the other side of the wall, duplicate it, rotate 180 degrees, and just this side we can change the seed. Let's see. Yeah. And basically I can just get rid of these. You spend quite some time creating the first iteration or the first block, but when you do, after you're done, it becomes pretty easy. Okay. Yeah, so you can see. Yeah. Now you can see the sides here are a bit, the texturing is a bit stretched. Of course, you can, it's up to you to make it more detailed. But so far, let me make this concrete. That is awesome. Yeah, thank you. Let me see. Hey, Daniel Sejinga. What's up? How are you? I'm from Uganda. That's in East Africa. When I try this, seed in random value doesn't work. Is it work here? Yeah. I'll see let me show you. It works fine here. So you can see what we have here. If I've basically moved the seed of the random value to the output, so it's this seed here. And when I change it, you can see it works perfectly for me. Let's add some area lights here. Basically start making stuff look cool. One thing you have to make sure is don't add any other objects into the module that you don't want to appear to be part of the building. So like the area light, you see when I added it, it changed the entire building because a new object was added to the modules. Something I didn't want to do, so I removed it. Okay, so we want an area light here. Thanks, I will try it again. Yeah, maybe try it and look at your arrangement node setup. Maybe you might have an error somewhere. Try to add some fire exit stairs to the building. Why not? Why not? Let me first see. Let me see. Oh, I was forgetting what I was trying to do. Of course, we can make some longer buildings, halves and shorter buildings. So maybe this is shorter, but longer. Of course, you can make an entire building that has all the 4 walls, but I wanted to just do a faster, shorter setup. Can the magenta work? Cyan and magenta works pretty well for futuristic concepts. Okay, let me see. Cyan and magenta. I'm forgetting how those colors look. This looks nice. So I guess we can, let me get this gradient. We can sample from that. Why is it not showing up? Okay, so we can, you're saying if we add a cyan lights, so this light, like that. Maybe let's add a man for scale, because right now things don't look, we have no frame of reference. Again, make sure that you don't add any characters. And let me see how this looks. Yeah. Don't add any character, any stuff in the... Okay. Just add a character. For reference, how many hours do you spend on the computer? Let's say 12 hours a day. Yeah, roughly about 12 hours. If you add gaming to that, it could go around 16 hours a day. Try to, Okay, let's try to do the fire extinguisher. So I'm going to first pause here, go back to this. So yeah, this, why is it slow? So this is our building. If we wanted to add fire escapes, let me get a reference. Fire escape stairs. Yeah, 9 more likes to 50 likes. That's amazing. So if you like the content and you haven't liked the stream, it will really help a lot. Yeah, thank you for reminding me, Kapil. If you have a look at the reference, he uses more of blue lighting. We can always change the lighting a bit later, as it should be very easy. Okay, so this is going to be our fire escape. Let's model it and then try to add it to the building. So shouldn't be too difficult. So it's basically a plane. I'm going to make sure that we don't need to use too much texturing on this. So it's going to be something like this. I can add a few subdivisions here, a few subdivisions there, a few subdivisions there. Insert faces, and we have that. So it's duplicated. No, we can also create the step itself. So can grab this, rotate it, bring it up, extrude like that, and I always wondered how to make it easy, to make the steps easy. I guess this would be the easiest way, I think. Okay, so we have this, add a few subdivisions like that, grab that, use the checker select. So select, use the checker deselect. Yeah, remove those, and then I think we can scale by NVIDIA origin in the Z. So steps, and maybe these steps can have some thickness to them. Actually, I can just select. They don't need thickness, they just need maybe just what else? That is fast. Yeah, I've been doing this for a while, so I know a few tricks. Just grab this. Actually, can grab that. Maybe add a loop here. Grab this, insert, and we have handles. Then this we can just grab another face, Shift D, rotate on the Y, 90 degrees. Shift D, rotate on the Y, 90 degrees, rotate Z, 90 degrees, and we can have this there. A Blender guru. Thank you. Okay, something like that. Add a few subdivisions, and I guess we can. Yeah, thank you, Alexandra Kozakov. Sorry if I'm butchering your name, but I appreciate the subscription. Thanks for subscribing. Okay. Yeah, this one is too thick, I think. So let's repeat this step. Shift D, rotate 90 degrees, rotate 90 degrees. Okay, subdivisions, not that much, something like that. Insert. And we can grab this edge loop to add a handle. In case someone is using the ladder, they can hold that. Yeah, I think that's enough. Maybe. So that's going to be the escape ladder. And I guess there has to be a way to go down this one. So you go here, you go there, and then, so if we duplicate this, it would be something like this, right? Yeah, that shouldn't be too bad. So now to add it to the collection here, one thing we need to make sure is, again, make sure it's not in the modules collection. So let's bring it out. Okay. Now we want this to be at the corner there, origin 3D cursor. So let's see how we can line this up. So we want this to be, let's see, how big do we want this to be? So if we have this here at that scale, and we have a building that wide, we can have this on every, so we can have this building, this repeated here. Let me change the color. There and there. So every 3 or something. So now to add this to the entire building, what we can do is bring it in. So I'm going to rename this to, what is it called? Steps. How long have you been using Blender? About 10 years. How are you going to texture? I basically just find a building texture and texture and just, how do I explain that? Ian Hubbard has a good tutorial on that. You make me want to turn on my old Blender 2.9 on Windows XP with my 17-year-old desktop. Please buy me a PC. Yeah, man, I'm broke. I can't afford that. I can't afford to buy a PC. I don't think even Blender 3 doesn't work on XP, I think. Okay. It is just metallic material overall. They are metallic, isn't it? They are painted. So yeah, they are metallic. Maybe you can make them metallic. Would that make any difference? I want to keep them non-metallic. We can come back to the texturing. Blender works only on 10. Blender 3 works on 10, but other versions do work on. So let's bring in this object steps. We can do an object info, and we want to use the steps. Yeah. So we have our steps. Here, and we want to position it in front of these. So I'm going to use a join geometry. So let's do a join geometry, and let me first hide this. So, and what I want to do is first instance this vertically so that they always match the same at the height of the building. So to do that, we're going to use a line, actually we have that already. This vertical line can be used for the steps as well. So we can do another instance on geometry. So we can use these points and use the steps as our instance. So now mesh line, point, pick instance. So you can see our steps. If we join this to the original building, and maybe scale up the steps. Hey, thank you, Samuel. Raj, thank you. Really appreciate that. Yeah, thank you. For the 40 of nearly $1 donation. Really helps out the channel. It helps me sustain the channel, makes the stream possible. So anything you can donate is really welcome. So thank you, Raj. Really helps maintain the power. Thank you. Okay, so we have this. Let me bring. What am I trying to do? Okay, so we have the step, but they are inside the building, which is not what I want. I want to offset them, so I'm going to do a transform. Or I can, a transform. Should I use, transform. A transform node and push these on the X or on the Y. So you can see the steps here, but they're too big, so I'm going to scale them down. Yeah, something like that. And the great thing about this is that they're the same. So when we change the height of the building, the steps also change, which is nice. It is nice. So the other thing that is remaining is just having them repeated on the X so that we have at least escape steps every 3 blocks. So we have the first one here. Can I get a color that is much visible? Yeah, so we have steps there, but we also want maybe steps here and maybe. So every 3 blocks we add a step. You're here after a long time? Yeah, hey, Akzombob, one of my greatest people here who are always here when we're streaming. So, okay, so we want to duplicate this. Again, we can use the same line, this horizontal line, which we are using to instance the modules horizontally. So I can, I can do another instance on points. This is going to be our points. And this is going to be our instance. So this ladder, this duplicated step is going to be our instance. And you can see now, this line here should be our points. So you can see now we basically have the same setup as our building. If we join this, that means every block is going to get escape ladders, but we don't want that. We want to skip at least 3 blocks, and to do that, we just have to look at the points that are instancing the buildings. Do you work out? Myself? Of course I do work out. When I'm sleeping or something. But not in real life. No. I don't do that. Anyway, so we want to skip at least every 3 blocks. So what we can do is use the selection option, and we can bring in the instance at the index. We can use the index of, I don't know, my nodes are getting more noodle-like, so it's very hard. It's getting harder to explain. That node setup is perfect for scaffolding surrounding the building. Do I even know what scaffolding is? Scaffolding. Oh, this. Yeah, it should definitely be possible to do that. Is this the kind of scaffolding you meant? Or did you mean something else? Some people work out with a spoon. Okay, so we can use the index to select what part we want. So if I add a math node, a vector, sorry, a math node, let me just search for that. A math node here, I can basically select where our nodes, which instances to show. So, but if I change the operation to something like modular or sine, if we change this to a sine wave, I guess we can do that too, but I think modular is going to be more effective. All right, let's try using a sine and just, so a sine wave basically is is like this, and we have our index going from 1 to whatever we have here, so something like 10. And it's hard to explain some of these nodes without going too much into detail, but what we can do is, I want the inverse of what we have, so I'm going to use the Boolean math and change this to not. So, am I doing this correctly? Am I doing this correctly? So if we have the index and use a math node, let's use modular. Divide by 2, divide by 4, divide by 3. Yeah, divide by 3 and then use the Boolean math. I'll have to do a proper video explaining what I'm doing here. So you can see now we have at least we basically have the steps where we wanted them to be on the green lines like that. So if I extend this building horizontally, you can see we get steps every node, but the vertical, seems our vertical line doesn't match for some reason. Our vertical count doesn't match. And I'm not sure why that is the case. So I guess I can subtract. I can you do a game asset modeling live stream? Yeah, I can, but I don't think those are very popular because you're basically repeating the same step, and it's a lengthy process to do that. Especially, like, what do you mean, game asset? What particular game asset do you have in mind? I have a low poly with a normal map, and the problem when the color of the car changes, I need to select each object alone and change the color. This takes time. I hope you understand me and remember that. I don't think I understand the question. Okay, one thing I wanted to adjust here is this here. I'm not sure why we have to make. So I'm going to duplicate this, and just so I can control, I have an easier way to control the count of these, and we can use the vertical count, which is the second count here. You can see this goes up to too many blocks. Oh, okay, Blender just crashed. Trying to fix the vertical stuff. Let me also make sure I'm saving a backup copy of this. Okay. To get the vertical piece to work right, let me see, we can use the points on the Z like that. So we have 19, 18. It should be I think the reason why we are having an issue with the vertical steps is because our main step, our original step, has a different scale, doesn't match in scale, which is something we should fix. So I'm going to grab this original and make sure that it's also a height of 1 meter like that, and also make sure that I don't change its scale here. So this is what we have. Okay, with that, we can should have the same setup. Okay, so we have the same setup, but for some reason it's spread too high. So what I'm going to do is just add a scale elements in between this and a scale points or edges. Yes, you should be able to bring this back down. But it's scaling it not from the center, so I'm going to do to create a center from the using the combine XY. And that should give me what I'm looking for. So let me, I don't know, something like that. So if we do this vertically, now everything matches. So yeah, and since this is the same geometry nodes that we have been using for everything else, we should have steps on every block we have. Let me just make a few changes here, because I think my steps are floating away. Okay. Yo, thank you, Giao Nguyen. Thank you for subscribing. Is the array makes file heavier than using instance in geometry nodes? Yes. Yes, the array modifier just makes things much heavier, and it doesn't give you the same options that geometry nodes gives. Okay, so this is what we have. Oh, I like this light. Maybe it's daytime, but because of the buildings, maybe let me increase this. You do 10. Let me add a light, an area light. Oh, huh. You know what? I did that accidentally, but I think that's one way to add, to make the buildings lit. Just make, I want, yeah, so you can see, hello Nano Studio, how are you? Glad to see you. Okay, any more suggestions? What we can do here? Can you add a signboards in nodes as well? Yeah. We can actually. For that, let's see. So if we go back to our original modules, which are here, we can create signs. We can create a new, let me first pause this. So this is one of the buildings we have. We can do things like create a board. So I can add a plane, 90 degrees, rotate it 90 degrees, scale it. So something like that. And we can have some text on it. So let me go to here. Let me see. Do I have any details that we could add in here? They're called ads. Or are they banners? Let's say Japanese banners. Yeah. Let me save this. Okay, I'll go to my texture folder. Actually, let me just texture folder, smokes. I think I have the smoke collection. And so we have this. I can use the user's plane, and I should have an emission option. But let's do translucent only. So I have this banner. Going to switch. I'm just going to use an emission shader. And then just create one like this. Origin to 3D cursor. You've got quite the setup. Thank you. I'm actually trying to get rid of some of these monitors so that I have a one wider monitor. Reduces on the clutter and stuff. Makes, yeah, basically that's my plan. Okay, and to make this, let me see, look more detailed. I don't know, should I do that? Yeah, to make this more detailed, I'm going to just duplicate this, extrude a few times like that, and add some subdivision, and then use Ctrl T to triangulate this. I mean, first make sure that this is material function opaque. I can give this a wireframe modifier and kind of a new material, like a rusty metal material, dark and thinner. What are you running all this on? What do you mean? At the stream? You can use exclamation mark setup. Let me show you. Exclamation mark. Is it setup? Specs. Specs. Thank you. I was forgetting. Yeah. So the piece I'm using is what I'm showing there. Yes. So we have this. Again, this is supposed to use an emission. Yeah, something like that. Okay, and I can apply this and join this like that. So we have that as a billboard. Actually, I need to make a few changes to this. There's no point in having this much detail. I can apply that and then just join this to this. Okay, so we have a billboard, but we need, so if I join this, let me show you how this looks already. I just make sure that this is not in the collection. I just join this to this, and that should reflect in yeah, you can see we have that in there. And we can even have taller ones, taller billboards. So I can just duplicate this. In my music, I can duplicate this and make a taller billboard. So I just need this plane, make it taller. I can even just also change the image. Use and it will span on multiple. You can see the billboard on the buildings there. You have finally gotten yourself a proper PC. No. It's still the same setup I'm using. It's still the same. But I want to get a new one sooner. So let's see how this looks. Yeah, you can see now with the banners. Maybe I shouldn't have this much light. Thank you. Most of the billboards are only okay, Nightbot deleted that before I could read it. Most of the billboards are only on the first few stories. No. They're on every stories because this is a randomized setup. Let me show you one of these. So you can see there is one there is one there. So yeah, plenty. Because it's random, yes, some buildings might only have those. You can even see them here. I need to reduce the emission intensity of these, maybe 2.1 or 0.3. Let's add more buildings in the background. I think I'm going to grab this. just use it as a collection, call it building, and I just instance it. Maybe even make it bigger because it's going to be in the background. Okay, so that's mainly the background. Let's start working on the foreground. I like this thing, so maybe we can try adding it ourselves as well. And I like the steps, so we could also add those. So let's do a plane. Let's do a circle about a few segments. Mirror this. Extrude up. Shade smooth. Duplicate this. Let's add a plane. Now turn on the cycles and the computer says baby. Okay, we are going to, let me turn on clipping here and add some small details. Again, we're not trying to be super detailed. We're just trying to get the cheapest detail we can get without doing a lot. I can okay. Of course, you can be more detailed than me, but I just want to get done. Just want to do this in the fastest way and perhaps the cheapest way to do this. You should get a new PC now. The prices have dropped. Have they? Yeah, that's not something I knew. The reason I haven't really got a new PC is I got this less than 2 years ago, so I can't really find a good reason to justify getting a new PC, and getting a new PC will not really do much for me in terms of I can't really justify just getting a new PC. That's basically it. Because if I start to do things just because get a new PC just because it becomes really expensive. Becomes really expensive. Oh, 63 likes. Nice. Amazing. Thank you guys. If you haven't liked, it would be amazing. If you did, it would really be amazing. Yeah, we can always come back and add more detail to this if we want. But for now, let's see how it's going to look. If you're suggesting why don't you buy PC for everyone? You mean Samuel? Yeah, PCs are not exactly cheap. Okay, let's bring this in. I would like a 5080 Ti Super. I got a new one a few months ago. It was expensive, but really helps with my render. What did you get? What specs did you get? Yeah, I don't think they have dropped that much. My camera just gone. That is okay. A 3060 i7, it dropped in my city. And how much did you buy the entire setup? In India, 3080 is approximately 50,000 rupees. And how much is that in US dollars? I saw a PC with a 3060 the other day. A 3060. How much do they cost? Because here because this is a landlocked country, it becomes even more expensive. So usually the price is nearly double for us this side. So let's get a road. can start adding some road elements that could make this scene looks pop. And maybe another thing we could do is make some of these have light in them, like add light in some of these so that the buildings are somewhat lit in some areas. Over here, an i7 with 36 is approximately 1400. Let me see, what is that? USD. Euro to USD. Yeah, that's nearly. That's not too bad. Is that a laptop or is it a desktop? Let me add a step here. What you saw was a desktop. Nice. That's not bad for the price, but if here it would be, they would add like 500 on top of that, taxes and shipping. Have you tried using Megascan Quick? So yeah, I have, and I have some of their assets. Let me just deco. Let me see what else can we add in here. Add some signage maybe. Like their surface textures, I want Asus Pro Art Studio Book Pro. Let me see how that looks. Asus can't type. Pro Art Studio. This. What is this middle thing here? Can't get it. Let's add some street lights. This is the beauty of having an asset library. Just makes everything seem quite easy. Some barricades. It's like a wheel you can set up hotkeys. Oh, it's like a mouse wheel? That's nice. It's very good for artists, that's why it's pro. Nice. Haven't really checked out any new stuff. Okay, let me wait for this to update the images. You can increase and decrease the size of the brush. Okay, Blender is starting to hang, running out of memory. I think let me do some optimization before we go any further here. Let me first go to my quick functions. Hello wall, how are you? Do some optimization. And as Blender is optimizing, we can make sure to check out my Instagram. That is where I usually post the final renders. And yeah, you can see some of the different stuff we have made in different live streams. Thank you. Whoever has ears, let them hear. Thank you for subscribing. Love cars. I want a beach house in Amalfi, Italy, and Ferralica. Nice. Why don't we just buy one if you want it? I'm kidding. You can. Let me see. What's that? What was Amalfi? Amalfi Coast. How does that look? Yes. Is it a very expensive place? You'll be okay with a Ford Mustang? Hey, I would go for the new uh, Ford F-150, the Lightning one, the electric one. Looked very amazing. You must upgrade the memory. Yeah, I only have 8 GB. Maybe that's an issue. Okay, why is this? I think memory should be cheap. I can get that, maybe double what I have. I'm thinking to upgrade to a 32 as soon as possible. Yeah, I think I can upgrade. I'll check the prices and see what I can upgrade to. I think there's quite a lot missing on this. Let me see. Let me redo the lighting of this. Shift G, type lights. Let's redo the lighting of this. Mine is a 16, and sometimes I struggle as well. Yeah, so I really should upgrade. Let me grab these. Just have some characters. Yeah, I think it's starting to look good. Let's add an area light in here. Okay, let's get some wires. Can you put some lights in some of the buildings? Definitely, and that should be very easy. We can just duplicate one more floor like this and give it an emissive light. So I'll just pause this. Now maybe just grab these faces. Give it a new material, new emissive material. Call it light. And just give it an emission shader. Maybe 10. Now you can see we have some light. Maybe that's too much. Let me reduce the size. Let's try 10. Can you use texture from a night scene? What do you mean? I'm not sure I understand. Let's get some wires. Okay. Okay, 74 likes. Thank you guys. Thank you. How about on the glass? You can text it. Yeah? I'm not sure I understand what you mean. Oh, you mean lights on the glass? I think we can. Yeah, we let's try something different here. Let's interior building interior light texture. Let's see if we can get something. Let's see, building night texture. Maybe something like this. Maybe this. Let's see, office night texture. Yeah, maybe any of these could work. Yeah, this should work. So if we get that, we can go back to the original buildings here. Just make some of them have a night time. So, for example, these I can give a new material. Call this night. And let's grab this image. Did I save it? Yeah, night. Just assign it to these windows. And just UV map. Unwrap. So maybe this uses this. I think this could be so something like that, but this can be animation shader. And I'm going to remove this SC here. Let me just move this. Okay. Yeah, this side as well. Maybe let me reduce the variation a bit. Just making a few variations like that. Okay, let's see. Okay, but I think they're too bright. And the color could also be different for each. We can have some variation in color. So I'm going to use an object info here and just randomize the color a bit. We don't want too much variation. And we can do a color. The one with blue? No green? Yeah, I think I'll remove most of the green. Let me see. Okay. That was earlier? Okay. Okay. Let's see. I think I'm going to remove this light. Let's go back to the reference image. Thank you. Trying to find some other things I could add. flow. The foreground looks empty. You should add something. Okay. Let's see what do they have here. You can maybe add some people. Maybe I don't have the transportation add-on here. Let's add a bike. Maybe. See. Let me use my quick decals add-on to add some details. Where is that quick decals? Let's see. I think let's add some dust using this deco here, this sun deco. Okay. Go to the materials. Maybe the camera be a bit closer as well. Okay, let me first see if I can add this. So I want to use color alpha. Yes, hey, some sand on the surface. Really easy. Maybe let's also get some, maybe, I don't know, cracks or something. Also this, we could also use this sand to add extra detail. Let's do color. Because the surface really looks quite undetailed. Hey contractor, thank you for subscribing. Let's see, what else can we add to the... I could use this stop. like that as a deco, and can use the alpha. I think I need to invert this. But we also want to use some custom alpha. We'll just grab a grunge map. In my opinion, now it looks better. It doesn't feel empty. Ah, nice, nice. Anyway, to add some light to the pillars of the gate structure, and maybe add some of the stairs. Okay, let's see. I think I have an umbrella. Yeah, I have an umbrella. Maybe some of these guys should have. Some of these guys should be holding umbrellas. And this can just simply be I think people with umbrellas is really going to help. So it's not sure about the stock graffiti. Okay, let's get rid of that. Let's see if I add a light here, a spotlight. Still having issues with the lighting a bit. Let's add some lights here, see how that would look. Yeah, I think this can have some volume density. I don't mind that. Yeah, I think it's starting to look as I would want. Let me add this amp layer. Let's get more people here. Thank you, Yaming, subscribing. Really appreciate that. Yeah, we should add our signature card. Why not? Let's get our card. Add a hologram of a cat. A hologram of a cat. How would I do that? How? A hologram of a cat. Yeah, the issue with that is my cat is not well detailed, and let me see. Let me see. Let me see. You know what? Maybe we could do that. Up here. So we could, let me see. Let's make a hologram here. New material. We can use an emission. Emission and transparency. Use a cat outline. I'm going to create an outline using the Fresnel effect and see. I think it's compiling shaders. 81 likes. Ah, nice, nice, nice. Great. Okay. Okay, we want a Fresnel. So we can do a math node. Maybe before you even do that, let's try adding a math node here with the operation modulus. We could have some repeated lines. Yeah, with layer weight or Fresnel. Yeah. Let's see. Layer weight and Fresnel, and we probably need. Let me remove this. Like that. I'll probably need some noise as well. So let's add a texture, noise texture. Bring that up, add a car ramp. Can do a multiply. Yeah, something like that. So you can use This is looking great, sir. Thank you, Rolin. Thank you. Okay, I think we need some details in the inside, so I'm going to use a Voronoi texture. But this time we can use hello Lachesis and Una Nidai. How are you? How are you doing? Hey Kelly Johnson, how are you? And thank you for the $2. Stop. When are you gonna do a GeoNode City? A GeoNode City. The issue is I'm still having an issue because I've been trying it a few different ways. I can make buildings match very, very easily, very quickly, but instancing them in a way that makes them look like a city is what I'm still having issue with. So, but I believe I will get it at some point. You know, how have you been? Yeah, so yeah, this is what I wanted. Just use yeah, I think that introduces some details in the middle that could be interesting. Hey, Top, you should also. You also said you would do a match. Ah, I really forget a lot. Yeah, that's something we should do. Maybe we can try that in the evening. What time will you be available? Maybe I can arrange that. Because the matching army shouldn't be that hard to do. I have a Roman park of buildings. Yeah, you can tell me if you'll be available in the evening, and maybe I can arrange something. We could do a matching army in the evening. me add some extra banners. Magenta cut is, I think that's magenta something. Which one is magenta? Which is it, this or is it more blue? I think one other thing we could do to the cart is we could, let me see. We can add some, we can use a build. You can use the build modifier to kind of make it, to make some dead pixels. Randomize. It's more pink. Purple pink. Okay, so around here. Though I think maybe the build doesn't work very well. Can just leave it. And I'm going to add a light inside this. Just give it. Did Kelly just dip? Just dropped a few dollars and dipped. Dropped the money and dipped. Anyway, thank you. But yeah, if you're still here, let me know if you'll be here in the evening. I'll see what we could do. Alright, grab this fridge. Let me get this umbrella as well, maybe. Thank you, Ona Nidai, 45 euros. Thank you. You guys are really generous today. Thank you a lot. Yeah, you guys, you can suggest what we could do, and yeah, I think we can try doing a matching army in the evening. I'm not sure if Kelly Johnson will be around, but yeah, if I don't do that in the evening, I might forget as well. Thank you, Ona Nidai, for the €5. Thank you a lot. How long is it until evening for you? Let's see. Actually, I say in the evening, forgetting that you guys might be in a different time zone. So let me see. Where's my calculator? Okay, so let me see. 7 p.m. EST, East African time. So 7 p.m. So whatever 7 p.m. Okay. How do you? Okay. What is your location? Maybe I can figure it out that way. So it will be 7 p.m. my side. Let me see. What is my time zone? East African time. So that would be, let me just calculate this. So this is 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, about 7 hours from now. About 7 hours from now. Hey bro, should I follow the channel? Of course, man. That would be greatly appreciated if you did. It would be appreciated a lot. Let me chair. Let me see. Chair. Get a chair. Okay. This doesn't really look great here. Yeah, this foreground. I'm just going to move the camera forward so that I don't have to deal with it. Yeah, 5 p.m. for you. Nice. So for the UK or Europe, it will be 5 p.m., around 5 p.m. And I think if you have notifications turned on, we should have, hopefully, you have, you will get the notification as well. Nice, I'll be here. I got to go to work in the next 20 minutes. Yeah, and I think in the next 20 minutes, we'll also be done with this stream. What do you do anyway? Lachesis, what do you do? How do I achieve a beautiful texture without PBR material? Without PBR material, you can just layer different textures. Some bollards. Do I know what a bollard is? Not sure what that is. Oh, these. Yeah, these are like the finishing touches of this project. Concrete. Same as Australia and New Zealand. That's nice. So I guess for anyone else, it will just be 7 hours from now. or whenever you see the notification, which I would recommend you to have on if you want to join us in the next streams, and it would be nice to have you here. Garden work in law on freelance graphics design ATM at that time. Okay, I'm not sure what you mean. So you do garden work, but you also freelance as a graphics designer. Is that what you mean? Yeah, let's also give these bollards color. Hey, Cesar to run. Thank you for subscribing. Really appreciate that. Don't forget to turn on notifications to get notified when the stream starts. Won't be here at the start though. Barbados here. So Barbados is will it be night or something? Or you'll be doing some stuff? But that's okay. You can always watch the VOD, video on demand. Would you ever play GeoGuessr with us? Maybe we can start off the evening stream with a quick GeoGuessr, but I'm not very good. Let me see. I'm not very good with can I? Let me see. Play one quickly. I need to sign up. Let me increase the minimum samples or maximum samples here, just so we get a more clear preview of what we have done. I just started Blender, hopefully doing art like this one day. So how long has it been? Is it complete one quick tutorial to understand? This is Paris, at half close. 4 point. Okay. New York. This is an island somewhere. I'm not very good. It's here? Okay. Way off. You're also rubbish. Let's see. Hey, Kelly Johnson. You back? To when we gonna do Game of Thrones Old Town? Jonods? Yeah, like I said, I have the. I think did I show that yet? Because I was experimenting with creating a medieval type buildings, and I was successful at that. Let me see. Let's see. I have it somewhere here. I have that somewhere. Medieval house. Yeah, so this is a medieval house I was able to generate, and you could make a few changes, adjustment. And let me see. Let's see how Old Town looks. Old Town, Old Town. The buildings might be a bit different. So this is how it looks. I think since medieval buildings don't really, their streets are not super organized, I guess they shouldn't matter that much. So let me see. Let me try something here and see if I have a circle like this. Just doing a quick experiment here, and say I bring in this node, this building. Fill curve, and I want to experiment a bit and see if and just instance on points, instance. I guess I have to convert this to a mesh first, and then convert curve to mesh. Why is this? Okay, I think this is a mesh already. I guess I would do, let me see. I need to learn how to create a city grid with geometry nodes and how to place particular buildings in certain sections of the city. That's the thing. That's the main thing I was trying to look into as well, because it's not very clear to me too just yet. I was thinking Nuketown from code. Nuketown. Let me see that. Nuketown. There isn't a large landscape, a skyline to see how that new town look. Most of Old Town that you can find is more concept art. It was never fully shown in Game of Thrones series. Guess we can just get something. There is no area shot, wider shot of the city. It would be great to know how to create a city grid. A city grid is way simple, I think. If you're just going for a grid, that should be very simple. Let me show you quickly. If I have a plane like this, actually, do I even need a plane? We can just use a grid setup. Let me turn on wireframe here, so we can have 2 or 3 buildings and grid. If you're going for basically a grid, like a true grid, you can just do a line, a mesh line, and instance on points. So you use the mesh line at the points. So this would be for the X value of the grid, and you would use the grid as the mesh, like that, and then you just increase the separation. So that's for the X. And then you can also just do another line, mesh line, this time for the Y. Because a grid city is quite simple, I think. Am I doing this correctly? Mesh line, and this time, yeah. Then you just, so basically that would be your grid, and then you just instance. I need to know how to create separate sections for the template and the rich areas of the city, and then the poor parts of the commoners. Also, I think that could also be easily created. Let me show you how to instance this building. So if you bring in other building and just first realize these instances, and then instance on point, and then this time you use this as the instance. Let me scale it down a bit, because now you have a grid. Let me make sure that I'm not using too many polygons, and maybe let's use, say you want, let's have a taller building. Let me just use a tall cube here for a tall building. Maybe you want the center to have the tall buildings. You could have, say, an empty like that, and somehow streets. Yeah, if you have a grid pattern, the streets are much easier, are quite easy. It's when you go for a different pattern that things become a bit complicated. Actually, I think there's no point in having this grid. Yeah, say you want the other buildings. Let me see. Where is this? You have to do a lot of experimenting to get this right. So if you say you want just the buildings closer to the empty to be tall buildings, and let's say this was our tall buildings, you can do a distance. I think it's vector math. You can get the position of the nodes. And compare the distance with the empty. So the empty here, if we get that, we can get its location. And I just do greater than, let's see, compare this distance Am I doing this correctly? This is perfect. I'm doing a time lapse of a growing futuristic city. I need all the tips I can get. Ah, nice. I'm trying to see. Do I have to realize points here? And before I even do this, we can have points, mesh to points, so we can visualize the points, and we can use a delete geometry, delete points, just select the points that we want to delete. So you can see when I move this, some points are deleted. So I can reduce the radius. So if we have more points, let me see. Let me just move everything to the center here. So you can see we're calculating the distance of each point from this empty we have, and that will determine what points to show and what points to remove. So if we change, we can increase the distance, we can reduce the distance. I guess we need more points. Let me first remove this and mute this. So if we have more points like that, that may be closer together. Okay, something like that, and bring back the delete, and this, you can see we can control which points we show, which is amazing. So because we can also not show the points in that range, so I can do a Boolean math and choose the not operation. So anywhere where those points, where this is, it won't show. So now what use does that have? So we have these buildings and this building, so we can basically use these points separately. So I can do instance on point, instance on points, and basically use this selection for the poor building, for the poor people, which is small buildings. So these points for the poor people, just reduce. Now, this building is too heavy. Let's create a very a cheap one in terms of computer resources. So let's assume this is our poor people building. So let's get that, scale it down to fit. So that is the position of our poor people. Now we can also use the same setup, just basically duplicate this, Shift D, and select our taller buildings for the rich people. But this time we want to use the points in this area, and that we can achieve by just basically getting this and this. Skip this node here, so it would be the interior points, and that should give us these points, meaning we have the taller buildings. Oh, we need to select that taller building, make sure that it is scaled right. So then we can merge the two, and I see we have the smaller buildings and the taller buildings like that. And anywhere we want, we can just switch. Is that is that empty circle the rich part? Yeah, it's the rich part. So, and I can actually get some actual buildings since we already have that. Let me get a building collection. So I can do a new collection, call this a new collection. Yeah, call this rich, and call this poor, and just get a few rich people buildings. So those high towers. Let's say maybe this, and that. Can you put that file on Patreon? Yes, I'm going to do that. Okay, so now let's get some poor people buildings, and yeah, some poor housing. We can use this building, and what else? What this building also looks poor, and what other building looks poor here? Yeah, this one for the poor population, so that they can be a bit smaller. Apply the scale, grab these, apply the scale, and now we just have to switch this object with other collections we have just made. Can you create a sector that? Can you create a sector of the city for the templates? Can you create a sector of the city for the templates? I'm not sure what you mean there. I don't follow. Okay, so we can, instead of using this object info, we can now switch it to this. We can use separate, reset, pick collection, like that. And for the poor, we again just need to reset to just use this collection instead, pick children, and just do that. We can randomize the scale, so we can get a random value. Just and the top buildings can also have a random value as well. Can you create a sector of the city for the temples? For the temple? Okay, I still don't follow. Okay, we can randomize that. And I guess we can also make it in a way that the tallest buildings are the ones in the center. And since we have a distance, since we have this setup, actually, let me just grab it. We should start, okay. Yeah, since we have this center, we can also do a scale instances here and scale them by the center. You can see, but we're getting the opposite of what we want. So I can just simply multiply this by negative. So math, multiply this by a -1. Oh, no. I guess, let's see, how do you, okay, we can just remap, range, map range. So that's the value. We just do this. And now you can see that we have the biggest buildings at the center. I guess we can, it would have the poor district, the rich district, for the noble, and the temple district for the worship. Well, then if you're trying to do that way, it's I would recommend just using different collections. So you just expose the collection, say using the group output or group input here. Just expose these collections. So for in this case, we have the rich collection and the poor collection, which should be under here. So you can expose those. I think it would be much easier to have this exposed, and then you can create different neighborhoods by just duplicating this and changing the different collections here. So you would have a collection of a set of buildings that are within that style of I don't know, temples, school districts, like that. Like that, I think it should be much easier that way. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out a few things, and another thing we could do for this may be, thank you for subscribing in your puzzles. Thank you. Yeah, another thing we could do for this is randomize the rotation, because right now the rotation is very is the same basically for each of these. So this is the rotation. What I can do is grab the index of each. So basically each point, use a math node and just multiply it with 90. But we want only the z x combine the z. We just want to rotate the z, so you can see so you can randomize the rotation a bit like that. And I guess we can also do this for the rich area. I hope you are good. I'm great before you ask. Nice. So what have you been doing? You're coming in almost when we are ending the stream. What's up? How is life? Anything interesting? It is a work in the process, but you have a lot to teach us about procedural cities. Yeah, and I still also have a lot to learn, so I guess it's going to be a process for all of us, which should be fun. So I just add that. That should also help us rotate some of the building. I don't like one of these buildings, this here, I don't like very much. And because we are using the compare, actually we should have used the compare option node from the math node, which gives you, let's do compare. And let me try something. I've been doing medieval asset. Oh, you've been doing medieval assets? Oh, nice. Your internet is slow? That's unfortunate. How slow is it? A procedural geometry node city of marine would would probably be easier than Old Town because it has more references and top views. Marine. Yeah. And the great thing about this one is the buildings also seem. And can I get a better view of this? The buildings seem to be. The streets are not too organized. And maybe one thing I could try is streets. Let's say if we have a curve, a curve like this, and let me make sure it's in the same collection. Why is it being added? I want it to be only in the scene. So if we have a curve like this and give it some geometry, just a bit like this. Let me set it to wireframe. I want to see if I can easily make a gap for the street. What is bad? What is the problem? Fleet UK. Okay, so if we have this, let me first get rid of the other cities. If we have that, we can get up another proximity. I think there is a proximity, geometry proximity node. Let's see. Yeah. Before you even instance anything, if we look at the points we have here, let me do mesh to points. Okay, we have this. If you want to get the proximity, so these points, proximity to the curve. So I'll just drag the curve, this curve in, and get the position. Am I getting this correctly? A curve, geometry. Oh, you get the position of the curve and the position of the points, which I think would be these. We want points, so that gives us the distance. So anything greater, let's do a math node and use the compare node, compare operator. So if we do a compare, a comparison with this distance, we can basically do a delete and delete geometry. Oh, faces. Could you maybe do something inspired by, made by, let me see, who is that? Made by Caffeine on Twitter. Let me see. Let me give him a follow. Check out his pieces. Yeah, this This is doable. Yeah, we can do some of these. Geometry. Okay, there's a way to get this to. Let me see it. Why is it not working? If I remove any depth and just add it curve to mesh, do a curve to mesh, and just use the geometry nodes curve primitive curve circle. Obviously, there's still a few things to figure out here. I expected this to work. It should, when you draw a path, it should remove some of these. I don't know if it should be based on position or. I don't know, do I use realize instance? Anyway, I'll have to cross-check and see how to get that to work. But basically, that's one way to start off a city. And then when you figure out the roads, it should be much easier. You know, on the second thought, I think it should be quite easy. If we get this path to work, then we can make the streets become much easier to make. So we can. I think I did it somewhere in my grass video. I'm going to render this after. I'll share the final results on Instagram. But let me see. I have a grass. I was making some grass, and I think I was able to achieve what I want to achieve here. But I'm just, this graph path. I'm just forgetting how I did it. I hope I didn't remove that. Grass, geometry nodes. Oh. Yeah, I had set it up here, but I guess because I found a better way to use this, I think I removed. Let me see, can I have, maybe I have it in the last sessions. No, not this. I love his work. I will, my favorite one by him in your Discord, if that's okay. Yeah, sure, you can send that in Discord and I will have a look at it. Auto save grass path. Same thing, still uses. Anyway, I'll do a few experiments and see if I can get this street path to work. Not sure why I can't get it to work here, but it should basically give us a starting point. yeah, that's it. That's going to be it for today. Just for likes shy of 100. Yeah, who's going to like to get us to 100 likes? That would be amazing. And thank you guys, even if we don't make it to 100. I really appreciate 96 likes. That's amazing. And thank you for the super chats as well. And you guys for keeping the chat alive. Kapil, Kelly Johnson, who else was in the chat? Fleet UK. You guys have been really amazing. Thank you for keeping the chat alive. Rolling 8S, Muhammad Amid Jacobs, Laches, Cesar, Black Blackula. Yeah, thank you, Bobby Alex. Who else? It was a very active chat. Samuel TC. Yeah, a lot of Axom Bob. Thank you guys. And yeah, 99 likes. Thank you guys. Thank you a lot. Thank you for being here. Patrick Cha Penet. Hello from France. Hello, how are you? How is France? How is everything? Yeah, thank you guys. 99 likes. I guess by the time I know it will be making it 100 by the time this goes live or goes up as a VOD. But again, thank you. See you in the evening.